Jai Shri Ram. Hanumanji is one of the best known and most loved divine personalities in several scriptures, particularly the Ramayana. When we think of Hanumanji, we usually think of his outstanding feats of strength and courage, and his most spectacular deeds. But when we look closely at the Ramcharitmanas, we find that Tulsidas-ji has revealed in every little action that Hanumanji performs, and every sentence that he speaks with the most profound wisdom, the deepest philosophical doctrines, and the highest spiritual truths. If you take one incident from the Sundarkand and we analyze this, we will see how this fact is borne out. When Hanumanji returned from Lanka and was reporting to Shri Ram on the message that he had received from Mother Sita, then Hanumanji was asked a very simple question by Shri Ram. How does Sita survive in Lanka, and how does she pass her days? And then Hanumanji gives his report. At the end of the dialogue between Shri Ram and Hanumanji, Tulsidas-ji says a very deep statement. He says, Yes, Salavad, Jasu Ura Ava, Ragapati Charana, Bhakti Soi Bhava. Those who take to heart this dialogue between Hanumanji and Shri Ram, they will easily obtain the devotion, the feet of Shri Ram. Now, this is very unusual because at the end of every kant is given a falshruti, which means the benefit of reading this kant. But this is one of the rare occasions where in the middle of the kant, Tulsidas-ji gives a falshruti. That means he gives a benefit of a particular portion of the kant. And this portion that he refers to here is a dialogue. So what is so special about this dialogue? That Tulsidas-ji says that those who take to heart this dialogue, they will get devotion to the feet of Shri Ram. First of all, when Shri Ram asked this question of Hanumanji, then Hanumanji said that, My Lord, Mother Sita is day and night muttering your name, and her eyes are like a pair of closed doors. That means that she is locked in meditation, deep in meditation, and she is constantly reciting your name. And then, when we look at that, we see that in this is the first great sadhana towards bhakti. One of the first sadhanas, one of the first spiritual disciplines that a person engages on is the repetition of God's name. This repetition is done with the tongue and the lips. But when reciting God's name, it is possible that other thoughts come into the mind. Therefore, the best form of repetition is to meditate on God's name whilst you are repeating God's name. For instance, in the Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, it says, Dhyanas artham, kapastatartham bhavanam. That means that whilst repeating God's name, you must meditate on the meaning of the name and the significance of it. That when japa is most effective. And therefore, whilst muttering the name of Shri Ram, Mother Sita has her eyes fastened on her feet, and these eyes is acting like a pair of closed doors, not allowing any outside thoughts to come into her mind. So this is the first step towards bhakti. The second step in this dialogue that is mentioned here is that when Shri Ram had received the message of Mother Sita, then he said to Hanumanji that, "Oh Hanuman, how can I repay my debt to you? You have done more to put me under an obligation than any devta or any sage or any human being has done. And when pondering over this point, it seems to me that I will never be able to pay my debt to you." When Hanumanji heard these words, then he fell at the feet of the Lord. This action of Hanumanji falling at the feet of the Lord and crying out, "Save me, save me," is a very important step in sadhana, in bhakti sadhana. And that step is that when you engage in devotion and as a result of such sadhana, when you achieve success, then it is quite natural that you feel a sense of pride that you have achieved something great. But when we learn that this is really not our achievement, although the sadhana is done by us, but it is God's grace that enables us to reach that. And therefore, we should never let pride enter into our mind. And by Hanumanji falling at the feet of the Lord, he said that even if I get swollen-headed with your praise, my Lord, because pride leads to a fall, let me fall now at your feet, because that is one place that I will never be hurt. But means pride will never set you back in your spirituality, because your pride is now surrendered at the feet of the Lord. So that is the second step of bhakti that is taught to us in this dialogue between Hanumanji and Shri Ram. Thereafter, when Hanumanji is made to sit next to the Lord, and the Lord asks him, "Tell me, Hanuman, how did you manage to cross the ocean and to kill so many demons and burn the city of Lanka? Lanka is such a difficult place even to approach and almost impossible to enter. How did you manage to do these things?" Then Hanumanji said, "My Lord, why are you saying this? You know that as a monkey, I am not capable of anything except jumping from one branch to another branch. All these things that you have said, this was not my doing, it is your doing. It was your glory that achieved all this." And then Hanumanji recounts, he says, "Going into Lanka, burning the city, uprooting the orchard of Ravan and killing the demons, all this was your doing." Here, Hanumanji changes the order of the sequence of events of him going to Lanka. First of all, when he goes into Lanka, first he destroys the orchard, then he kills the demons, then he burns the city. But here he says that I jumped off the ocean, I burnt the city of Lanka, and I uprooted the orchards, and I killed the demons. All this was your doing, not mine. Now, why did you alter this course of events? You put the burning of Lanka before the orchard being uprooted, before the demons being killed. Hanumanji was trying to say that just to remove the doubts about who burnt the city of Lanka, when I crossed over the ocean and came to Mother Sita, and before I could speak to Mother Sita, I heard Trijata telling Mother Sita and the other demonesses that she dreamt that a monkey has entered the city, and the monkey has caused tremendous havoc in the Lanka and burns the city down. I immediately realized that the burning of the city has already been resolved by you, my lord, and that it was all your action. This information about burning the city didn't even enter my head, but I had already foreseen it, so therefore it can't be my action, it must be your action. So therefore, the crossing over the Lanka and the burning of the city took place even before the uprooting of the orchard and the killing of the demons. And therefore, all this, my lord, is your doing, not my doing. So this is the third step of sadhana, when you attribute the doership of all your sadhanas to God, thinking that I do nothing, that God does everything. And that is the third step. Once you follow sadhana in these 3 steps, then your sadhana is complete, and then automatically you'll get bhakti to the feet of the Lord. This is why Tulsidas' statement, right in the middle of the Sundarkand, is of such importance when we consider it in the context of Hanumanji's and Shri Ram's dialogue. Jai Shri Ram.